Planning your creep route. Creep orders. A good creeping order will focus on the strengths of your race, on your opponent's race, your overall game plan, a travel distance, as well as one point not mentioned yet: options. Having options is important. When you get scouted or harassed or otherwise disrupted, having options allows you to make good choices, rather than running out of anything good to do. You start each game with a plan A creep route. Developments in the game then allow you to develop towards a plan B, and so on. This prevents you from wasting time in a section of the map due to running out of options. Example: you're human and you're versus an undead player. You've already spent time traveling to the top left quadrant of the map, and you've got two creep camp options, X and Y. You're about to start on the lucrative creep camp X. You then scout an opponent, the undead, coming towards you, and you only creep camp X when you're uncontested, as it's too hard to do when also dealing with an opponent as well. So you take camp Y instead, which can be safely crept while under pressure. That's your plan B. If you had no options, you'd either creep camp X and get harassed to death, or you'd be forced to leave the quadrant altogether and go somewhere else. Having options made your game plan successful under all circumstances, whether you are contested and harassed or uncontested. Example number 2. You're an orc player and you're against Night Elf. You've crept until level 1.7 on your Blade Master, and your opponent has a level 2.1 Demon Hunter. You meet in the middle of the map, both of you scouting each other out. You'd love to get Blade Master level 2, but you don't want to lose all of your mana and health points while getting harassed. As you meet each other, you turn on Windwalk. You turn invisible for a period of 20 seconds. This gives you a roaming range of 19 seconds worth of walking to a creep camp, whereupon you will like to hit a creep with the Windwalk's bonus 40 damage, aiding your creeping speed. That means that when you turn on Windwalk, you need to have several options nearby that are creepable by a level 1 Blade Master. The elf will have to guess which one you go to, and if they get it wrong, they don't get to harass you. Options represent strength. If you had only one option, the elf could easily track you to that one camp and guard it. Of course, you could always go out of vision and Windwalk a second time, or you could walk visibly towards another camp, but this increases chances of discovery and puts a strain on the orc's Blade Master mana consumption. This then reduces their ability to go undetected for longer as the game goes on. Third example, or another example. You're undead and you're playing against a human player. You're going for Dreadlord first with ghouls, and you would like to take a fast expansion. The moment the opponent scouts the lack of tech to tier 2, the Halls of the Dead, maybe they see bonus acolytes walking around, and especially if they manage to get eyes on your Dreadlord spawning from the Altar of the Darkness, they have a good clue that you're going to be playing a fast expansion style. That doesn't mean that your fast expansion won't work, but you do need to tinker on your creep route. The earliest an undead can go for an expansion creep camp on nearly all maps is straight away, with the first 4 to 5 ghouls. If you predictably play it like this, the human can plan their arrival at your second gold mine to coincide with yours, but you'll have to fight both creeps and the human army simultaneously. By scouting, for example with an acolyte, and having options based on what you see, you can delay your gold mine creeping. Taking the 3-3-3 Ogre and Troll creep camp on Last Refuge, while scouting the human's direction first, for example, would be a way to do so. Then you'll go for the 3-5-3 Ogre Troll camp, the gold mine, when you deem it safe, or you take on the 1-2-2-3 Murloc camp first. Delays like this will slow down your ability to acquire the gold mine as quickly as possible, but meanwhile you're still strengthening yourself via experience, items and gold, and you're preventing the risk of a simultaneous fight against an opponent and the creeps. If they arrive too early, you can sleep surround the Archmage before even engaging the gold mine's creeps, and then you can creep your expansion safely. If they still arrive during the creep check moment at the gold mine, at least you've already strengthened yourself, so you're likely going to be a bit more resilient to their pressure. Late game and power camps. Not counting the early and the mid game, there is a general sense of power camps per map. These are a map's most important camps due to the experience experience and the gold that they yield, but particularly because of the items. Typically, they're going to be having a red dot denotating them, showing that they are of the highest strength. These camps will drop game changer items like the Legion Doomhorn, which grants Unholy Aura, which is regeneration speed and movement speed to the whole army, or the Ancient Django of Endurance, offering the Endurance Aura, which is attack and movement speed to the whole army. Khadgar's Pipe yields Brilliance Aura, mana regeneration for all of your heroes and units. Lesser items can still hold great value as well, such as the Boots of Quel'Thalas, agility for a Demon Hunter or a Blade Master, or the Flute of Accuracy, giving ranged damage on all your units and heroes, 10%. It's worth having some sort of game plan to get your fair share of these camps on any given map, as well as their items, and preferably half of those creeps, if not more. Oops. Creep camps can be crept more safely and more efficiently, more quickly, by using a variety of tricks that manipulate the artificial intelligence that Blizzard has granted to these creeps. There are too many tricks to mention all of them in this guide, but I will list a few of them. It's worth practicing and learning them, as it can be a satisfying experience to get it right, and it streamlines your gameplay and speeds up your timings by a lot. Disabling spellcasting by pooling the creeps. Creeps are outfitted with a variety of abilities that allows them to spellcast on an assailant's army. There is a way to turn off the spellcasting of most creep camps. Creeps in their original stationary starting position will almost always spellcast based on a fixed set of rules and cooldowns. However, if you pull a creep camp out of position away from their original stance and then allow them to lose aggro because of the maximum leashing distance, they're then traveling back to the original place. You then re-engage them before they reassume their starting position, and the creeps magically won't cast any spells, no pun intended. This prevents you from having to deal with stuns, slows, dispels, heals, and buffs that they may otherwise cast. You can also use the creeps spells against them. There is a Renegade Wizard level 5 that can be found on Amazonia, Ternistan, and Echo Isles. It is programmed to cast a lightning shield on a player's unit or hero that is engaging him while being bordered by 2 or more allied units, but 0 fellow creeps. Lightning Shield deals 20 damage per second, so having the Renegade Wizard cast Lightning Shield on one of your units and then turning it against the camp, taking care not to last hit the creep with that Lightning Shield, allows you to significantly speed up creeping, and it even enables starting heroes that typically are not viable, like TC first, Shadowhunter first. The creeps are the spellcaster of the Lightning Shield, so any last hit experience would go to them, or in this case, to no one. If the player is the sourcecaster of a Lightning Shield, he gets experience for all kills associated with that. Just wanted to let you know, in case you end up trying out this technique. An AI manipulation trick that the Warcraft 3 melee community found out thanks to the existence of the Dota mod is attacking your own units to turn aggro towards another unit. Creeps typically attack the first unit in range, but there are some exceptions. One of these exceptions is the Creep Solidarity AI rule. The colloquial way of saying it is they will all attack a bullied unit. You can do retargeting away from a unit that gets attacked. You can say, don't target this one. If all creeps are attacking a Tauren Chieftain and the Tauren Chieftain attacks one of his own grunts, the creeps will retarget away from the TC to any other unit. You could say that the creeps see that the TC is helping them, so they won't bother him in that moment. You only need to give the attack command for a short split second for them to see it that way. You don't even need to complete the attack animation with its associated damage. You can be more forceful in letting the creeps know whom they should be targeting. Target this one specifically. If you want all the creeps to specifically target one of your units, take all of them and do a very brief attack command on that specific unit or hero. For example, the Demon Hunter. All the creeps agree. The Demon Hunter must be heard, and your huntresses and archers now stop taking damage from the creep camp. These tricks can be helping with efficiency and safety. The Demon Hunter can be staffed home later to heal, and he's got high armor class anyway, as well as evasion, so it can be helpful to have all of them focus the Demon Hunter instead of your huntresses or archers. Creeps don't just feel solidarity with units that seem to betray their own faction, like the example we just talked about. Creeps have solidarity with fellow creep camps as well. Sometimes a player will trigger trigger accidental aggro on multiple camps, but Destiny's hand can also be forced by the savvy player. Pulling creeps into an opponent will allow creeps to see that it's a stand as one situation. They will beat on that player for as long as creeps are being hit in the leash range, in the aggro distance. Sometimes only a part of a camp will wake up and join the fight against the human players. It's only when you attack one member of that new camp that you wake up the whole beehive. That's when the whole camp will join. Creeps truly are a mercurial faction. Creeps truly are a mercurial faction. Creeps truly are a Creeps truly are a mercurial faction.
Mercurial.
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 Capricious.
Creeps truly are a capricious faction. Slowing down an opponent's creeping. You can slow down the feng shui of your opponent in a plethora of different ways. You can creep their creeps by engineering a creep route that firstly steals neutral-ish camps, those on the middle line of the map first, then falling back to your own side. You may have robbed some of the creep camps away from your opponent if you end up splitting the map in half, with both players staying on their own side, creeping their own half. You can go even further beyond, both literally and figuratively, and creep the camps that are on your opponent's side of the map first. If they were happening to be doing an A, B, C, D creep route, and you stole camp C kind of early-ish, they may experience an unexpected gap in their route. This in turn may prevent them from doing a quick level 3 hero and may disrupt their game plan. You can also steal their creeps. Blademaster's Windwalk has a 40 damage bonus when coming out of invisibility. Death Knight and Lich have a long-range damage nuke. Every hero has a basic attack. All of these tools can be used to get the last hit on an enemy's creep, slowing down their progress and gaining you valuable experience. Legend has it that sometimes even a humble acolyte or peon can get the last hit on a level 6 creep, tilting the game in your favor, while tilting the opponent as well. Doing a multi-aggro on enemy creep camps can also be done with items. Heroes and workers, but also illusion wands can be used to have an enemy take on more than they can handle. Multi-aggroing creeps works best on small maps like Echo Isles and Last Refuge. Waking up their creeps too soon. The best plans take some preparation. Starting a creep camp sometimes requires you to get in a good position first. The opponent can use a summoned unit, a scout worker, or a hero to wake up the creeps and aggro them earlier than you may have been ready for them. That's what we call a jerk move. More bloodlust, more inner fire, more ensnares, all happening too soon. It will slow down their creeping by a lot, and more damage will be taken. Sometimes it's enough to just be nearby, providing a threatening presence of yourself to an opponent. Your being there means they cannot safely commit to a creep camp. It is the embodiment of, let's both wait here, time is on my side. Players do this when they think it's in their advantage that both players aren't creeping, rather than both players creeping uncontested. Using your Blademaster's presence nearby an opponent to slow down their creeping is a common tactic. You'll have the options to steal creeps, force them to focus fire your blade, and to sell the story that maybe your whole army is going to be there any second now. I hope so far in this guide you've gained a more solid understanding of the decisions that players make while crafting their creeping itineraries. Let's end on a few useful creep to knows. There are a set of rules that may help you understand creep AI better. It's not going to cover everything, but it will help you understand these poor persecuted souls a little better. Purge. Creeps will force focus fire units that they have casted a purge spell on until the purge effect expires. Slow. Creeps will force focus fire units that have been slowed by creeps or other players. Ensnare. Creeps will not focus an ensnared unit unless there are no other units in sight. Casting Ensnare. Ensnare being the route that it is, creeps love casting this on units that are currently moving, especially those that move into the max range of their Ensnare casting ability, and that's what they're going to cast Ensnare on. This is why it sometimes seems to screw up some players more than others when two players are fighting over a creep camp with troll trappers that cast and snare. Really, these capricious creeps are often quite hilarious. Special needs creeps. Some creeps are weird. The level 6 troll warlord will happily focus fire a Tauren chieftain over the grunts that are with him, provided the TC gets in range first. But they will stubbornly refuse attacking a bleed master over his fellow grunts, no matter how many corrective AI manipulation commands you try to use. Why? I don't know. Have you tried talking to a troll warlord level 6? Not a wise idea. Bloodlusted creeps. Some creeps truly feel like they can take on the world when they're bloodlusted. Certain bloodlusted creeps will target in a very evil way, overriding common creep logic and knowledge. They'll cancel heal salves, hit low HP units, and sometimes seemingly retarget at random, unprompted, suddenly killing a hero that you thought was safe. Be wary of these. High level creeps. Level 6 and above creeps rule the roost. They're pretty smart. They'll focus low HP targets over higher HP targets, and they'll aim their spells for maximum perceived damage. Anti-mazing is pretty amazing. If you block a creep that has been leashed, that is to say ordered by AI to go back to its original starting position, or if you've made sure that a creep couldn't attack anything due to invisible blocking or mazing, if you do this for a period of about 6 to 7 seconds, I like to say that they gain desperate status. Desperate creeps will do desperate things, like chase one unit seemingly forever at unreasonable distances, with an unreasonable and, to be honest, quite uncomfortable dedication. Don't maze creeps unless you're willing to deal with a stalker. Poison. Creeps that poison units. Who does that, really? Love spreading their poison to as many units as possible. Poison duration on units is fairly long, so when a creep has finished one hitting and poisoning every unit in range, they'll keep hitting the last one that they have poisoned until one of the first units recovers from the poison effect, the effect ended, and then they'll want to poison that one again. And thus the poisonous cycle continues. Frost armor and inner fire. Typically, priests will cast these protective buffs on the unit that gets attacked first, so you can plan the killing order of the creeps. You can either kill the priest early, or you can hit a low priority target first. They will then cast their buff on that target and not on the biggest creep of the whole camp, which would have made it harder to creep. Abolish magic. Creeps get persecuted relentlessly, so it's understandable that they would want to throw a wrench in your gears. Kobold Geomancers, level 3 creeps, and the Troll Shadow Priest level 4 will cast Abolish magic on a very low cooldown against all enemy buffs and creep debuffs that have been cast. It can be helpful to drain their mana this way, so that they don't cast slow, inner fire, and heal as much. Be wary of Abolish magic. Sometimes, even without physically aggroing a creep camp, they will cast Abolish magic on a buff that you've got going near. The Abolish magic aggro, as it is higher than physical fighting aggro. They may cast a spell and not engage you. This has been really funny sometimes when they remove a speed scroll seemingly out of nowhere, or you use a potion of invisibility and they go ahead and dispel it and your hero dies. Creep camp still in place, just wanted to mess with you. That rounds out my creeping guide for all of you for the time being. Do you want to share any cool creeping tricks that I may have left out? What is your best creeping story? I once stole a level 6 rock golem with my scout peon in a big tournament, and it helped me to win the game. What's your worst creep story? I once lost my hero to creeps. Just the once though. I won't swear an oath to it. And thanks for watching this, guys. Remember to follow at Heroes Hearth WC3 on Twitter. Follow Heroes Hearth on Twitch, link below, and like, comment, and subscribe on Heroes Hearth WC3 on YouTube for more Warcraft 3 content coming your way. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it.